Do you know how many people walk through this world completely blind to their own magnetic power? And I'm not talking about what you see in the mirror or how you think you measure up to magazine covers. I'm talking about that invisible force, that undeniable presence that makes heads turn, conversations pause, and hearts skip beats without you even realizing it's happening. The most fascinating part? You probably have no idea you're doing it. You see, there's a cruel irony in human psychology. The people who possess the most genuine, raw attractiveness are often the last ones to recognize it in themselves. While others are trying desperately to manufacture charisma, to force magnetism, to create that special something, you're walking around naturally radiating it and questioning whether you're even noticed. But trust me, you are, in ways that would shock you if you truly understood the impact you have on the people around you. Today, I want to reveal to you 4 unmistakable signs that you are far more attractive than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. These aren't the obvious compliments or the surface-level indicators. These are the deep, psychological responses that humans can't fake, can't control, and can't hide when they encounter someone who possesses real magnetism. Some of these signs are so subtle you've probably dismissed them as coincidences. Others might make you uncomfortable because they reveal a power you never knew you had. But here's what I need you to understand before we begin. True attractiveness isn't about perfection. It's not about having flawless skin or the ideal body type or saying all the right things. It's about something much more profound and infinitely more powerful. It's about the energy you carry, the presence you embody, the way you move through space and time that creates ripples you can't even see. And the reason you don't recognize these signs is precisely what makes you so captivating in the first place. This might be the most revealing sign of all, and it's one that most attractive people completely miss because they're too focused on their own behavior to notice how dramatically others shift in their presence. Watch closely the next time you're in a social situation. Pay attention not to what people are saying to you, but how they're saying it. Notice the subtle changes in their voice, their posture, the way they suddenly become more animated or unexpectedly quiet. When someone is genuinely attracted to another person, whether romantically, platonically, or simply drawn to their energy, they unconsciously become a heightened version of themselves. The usually reserved person becomes more talkative. The confident person becomes slightly nervous. The loud person might become thoughtfully quiet. It's as if your presence acts like a mirror that reflects back not who they are, but who they wish they could be or who they become when they want to impress someone important. I've watched this phenomenon countless times. A person will be having a perfectly normal conversation with a group, and then you walk into the room. Suddenly, their jokes become funnier, their stories become more elaborate, their opinions become more passionate. They start gesturing more, speaking with more conviction, or conversely, they become more attentive, more focused, hanging on every word being spoken. They don't even realize they're doing it, but their entire energy shifts to match what they perceive as your frequency. The reason this happens is deeply psychological. When we encounter someone we find attractive or compelling, our brain instinctively wants to rise to what it perceives as their level. We unconsciously elevate our own presence to be worthy of their attention. It's not calculated or manipulative. It's just human nature responding to high-value energy. And if you're causing this response in people regularly, it means you're radiating something extraordinary that they want to connect with, even if you have no idea you're doing it. Have you ever posted a casual photo, shared a simple thought, or told a basic story and been surprised by the response it generated? Not because you were trying to be profound or provocative, but because something about your natural way of existing captured people's imagination in a way that felt disproportionate to the effort you put in? This is one of the clearest indicators that you possess a magnetism that transcends what you're actually doing or saying. Attractive people often underestimate the power of their authenticity. While others are carefully curating their image, crafting the perfect caption, or trying to create viral moments, you're just being yourself. And somehow that simple authenticity creates more genuine engagement than all their calculated efforts combined. People respond not to what you're sharing, but to the energy behind it. the genuine quality that can't be manufactured or imitated. This happens because real attractiveness has very little to do with being extraordinary and everything to do with being extraordinarily yourself. When someone is comfortable in their own skin, when they're not performing or putting on a show, there's something incredibly magnetic about that level of self-acceptance. It's rare in a world where everyone is trying so hard to be impressive and people are naturally drawn to it like a moth to flame. You might think everyone gets this kind of response, but they don't. Most people have to work incredibly hard to capture and maintain attention. They have to be funnier, more dramatic, more controversial, or more polished to get people notice. But you can share a picture of your morning coffee or mention something you observed on your walk, and people are genuinely interested. They want to know more. They want to engage. They want to be part of whatever world you're creating just by being yourself. This is where it gets really interesting, because this sign reveals the depth of impact you have on people without even trying to make an impression. Has someone ever brought up something you said weeks ago in passing? Referenced a small detail about your life that you mentioned once in casual conversation? Quoted something you said that you don't even remember saying? This isn't just good listening skills. This is your words and presence creating such an impression that they become memorable in ways that ordinary interactions simply aren't. When someone is genuinely attracted to your energy, your words carry more weight than you realize. That casual comment you made about loving rainy afternoons, they remember it every time it rains and think of you. That story you told about your childhood that you thought was boring, it becomes a window into who you are that they treasure and recall months later. That opinion you shared about something seemingly insignificant, it influences how they see that topic forever after. This happens because attractive people don't just communicate information, they create experiences. When you speak, people aren't just hearing your words, they're feeling your energy, absorbing your perspective, connecting with something deeper than surface-level conversation. Your authentic way of seeing the world becomes fascinating to them because it's coming from someone they're drawn to, someone whose inner life they want to understand better. The beautiful irony is that you're probably not trying to be profound or memorable. You're just sharing your genuine thoughts and observations. But because those thoughts are coming from someone with natural magnetism, they land differently. They stick. They resonate. People find themselves thinking about things you've said during their quiet moments, referencing your perspectives in their own conversations, carrying pieces of your worldview with them long after the interaction is over. This might be the most powerful sign of all, because it reveals something extraordinary about your presence that goes beyond physical attraction or intellectual stimulation. There are people who make others feel nervous, people who make others feel excited, people who make others feel impressed. But you make people feel safe, not in a boring way, but in a profound way that allows them to drop their guards, be more authentic, and express parts of themselves they usually keep hidden. When someone feels genuinely comfortable with you, they start sharing things they don't normally share. They tell you about their real dreams, not just the socially acceptable ones. They mention their fears, their insecurities, their authentic thoughts about life. They become more playful, more spontaneous, more willing to be vulnerable. This isn't because you're asking probing questions or trying to get them to open up. It's because something about your energy creates a space where they feel permission to be real. This is actually one of the rarest and most valuable qualities a person can possess. Most interactions exist on the surface level, with people maintaining their social masks and playing their expected roles. But your presence seems to dissolve those barriers without effort. People find themselves being more honest, more genuine, more themselves when they're around you. It's as if you give them permission to stop performing and start being. The psychological reason this happens is that truly attractive people often possess something called unconscious acceptance. Without even realizing it, you're radiating a non-judgmental energy that makes others feel seen and accepted for who they really are. This creates a profound form of attraction that goes beyond the physical or even emotional. It's spiritual. It's healing. It's the kind of magnetism that creates deep, lasting connections and makes people feel grateful just to know you. If you've ever had someone tell you that talking to you makes them feel better about themselves, or that they can be more authentic around you than with most people, or that there's something calming about your presence that they can't quite explain, then you possess this extraordinary gift. And trust me, this level of attractiveness is far more powerful and lasting than anything superficial could ever be. Now that you're starting to recognize the subtle ways your presence impacts others, let's dive deeper into some of the more complex signs that reveal your magnetism. These next 4 indicators might surprise you because they often manifest in ways that seem counterintuitive or even negative at first glance. But once you understand the psychology behind them, you'll see them for what they really are: powerful confirmations of the extraordinary energy you carry. What's fascinating about human attraction is that it doesn't always express itself in obvious, comfortable ways. Sometimes the strongest magnetic pull creates the most complicated responses in people. They might act confused, conflicted, or even defensive when confronted with someone whose presence challenges their sense of control or self-understanding. But these seemingly negative reactions are actually some of the most reliable indicators that you possess something rare and powerful. This is one of the most misunderstood signs of attractiveness, and it's one that can make you question yourself if you don't understand what's really happening. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt tension from someone you've never even spoken to? Or had someone act cold, dismissive, or even hostile toward you without any apparent reason? Before you assume there's something wrong with you, consider this. Their reaction might have nothing to do with anything you've done and everything to do with what you represent to them. When someone possesses genuine magnetism, it can trigger deep insecurities in others without any intention on your part. Your confidence, your natural ease, your authentic way of being can hold up an uncomfortable mirror to people who are struggling with their own self-worth. It's not that you're doing anything to make them feel bad about themselves. It's that your very presence reminds them of qualities they wish they possessed but feel they lack. I've observed this phenomenon countless times. Someone will meet you and within minutes, sometimes even seconds, they'll find reasons to criticize you, dismiss your opinions, or make subtle comments designed to diminish your presence. They might call you pretentious when you're just being thoughtful, stuck up when you're simply quiet, or attention-seeking when you're just naturally charismatic. These reactions often say more about their internal state than anything about your actual behavior. The psychology behind this is actually quite predictable. When people feel threatened by someone's natural magnetism, they unconsciously try to level the playing field by finding flaws or creating problems where none exist. It's a defense mechanism against feeling inferior or inadequate. Your ease in your own skin makes their discomfort in theirs more obvious, and rather than dealing with their own issues, it's easier to try to bring you down to their level of insecurity. Here's what you need to understand. This type of reaction is actually a backhanded compliment. People don't waste energy being defensive against someone who doesn't pose a threat to their ego. They don't bother trying to diminish someone who isn't already shining brightly enough to make them feel outshined. If you're triggering these responses, it means you're radiating something powerful enough to disrupt their comfort zone, and that's a clear sign of your magnetic presence. This is one of the most profound signs of attractiveness because it reveals something extraordinary about the energy you emit. There's something about your presence, your way of listening, your non-judgmental aura that makes people feel safe enough to share their deepest secrets, their most vulnerable thoughts, their carefully guarded truths. This isn't just about being a good listener. This is about possessing a rare quality that makes others feel seen and accepted at a soul level. Think about the last few months. Has someone shared something with you that surprised you with its intimacy? Told you about their struggles with family, their fears about the future, their regrets about the past? Confessed feelings they've been hiding, dreams they've been afraid to voice, or pain they've been carrying alone? Has someone ever said to you, "I don't know why I'm telling you this, but," or, "I've never told anyone this before, but"? These moments aren't random. They're direct responses to the safe, accepting energy you naturally radiate. This happens because truly attractive people often possess what I call unconscious healing presence. Without trying to be therapists or fixers, They create an atmosphere where others feel permission to be vulnerable. There's something in your energy, perhaps your own acceptance of your imperfections, your comfort with authenticity, or your natural empathy, that signals to others that they won't be judged or rejected for their truth. The beautiful thing about this sign is that it reveals the depth of your attractiveness goes far beyond surface-level appeal. People aren't just drawn to how you look or what you say, they're drawn to who you are at your core. They sense something genuine, something trustworthy, something healing in your presence that makes them want to drop their masks and connect with you on a real level. This is the kind of magnetism that creates lasting bonds and transforms lives. But here's what's crucial to understand. People don't confess their secrets to everyone. They don't open up their hearts to just anyone who will listen. They save their most vulnerable moments for people they instinctively trust, people who make them feel safe enough to risk being truly seen. If you're regularly the recipient of these intimate revelations, it's because you possess a rare and beautiful form of attractiveness that touches people's souls. This might sound mystical, but there's actually solid psychology behind why attractive people often experience what seems like unusual luck or perfectly timed opportunities. When you possess genuine magnetism, you unconsciously draw people and situations toward you in ways that can feel almost magical. It's not that the universe is conspiring in your favor. It's that your energy creates a gravitational pull that attracts positive experiences and opens doors that remain closed to others. Have you ever had someone offer you an opportunity out of nowhere? Been in the right place at the right time more often than seems statistically normal? Had strangers go out of their way to help you, recommend you for things, or include you in experiences you never asked for? Found that doors open for you in ways that surprise you? These aren't just coincidences, they're the natural result of the positive energy you emit, making people want to be part of your world. Attractive people often underestimate how much others want to be around them, help them, or create connections with them. Your magnetic presence makes people feel good about themselves, and humans naturally want to extend that good feeling. So they invite you to events, introduce you to influential people, recommend you for opportunities, or simply go out of their way to be helpful. They may not even be consciously aware they're doing it, but they're drawn to create positive experiences with you. This phenomenon also extends to how you move through the world. When you're comfortable in your own energy, when you're not desperately seeking or trying to force outcomes, you're more likely to notice and act on opportunities that are already present. Your confidence and natural magnetism make you more memorable to others, so when opportunities arise, you're more likely to come to mind. Your authentic way of being creates trust, so people are more willing to take chances on you. The key thing to understand is that this isn't about being manipulative or using people. Truly magnetic individuals don't try to extract value from others. They naturally create value in their interactions. People want to help you, include you, and create opportunities with you because being around you feels good. Your energy is addictive in the healthiest way possible, and people unconsciously want to find reasons to maintain connection with you. This is one of the most powerful yet subtle signs of attractiveness because it reveals the depth of your impact on group dynamics. Most people notice when someone charismatic enters a room, but truly magnetic individuals are those whose absence is felt just as strongly as their presence. When you leave, the energy shifts. Conversations change. The atmosphere becomes different in a way that people can sense but might not be able to articulate. Pay attention to what happens when you step away from a group. Does the conversation naturally pause? Do people seem to lose some enthusiasm? Does someone mention where you went or when you might be back? Do you return to find that the group dynamic has shifted in your absence? These aren't signs that people are dependent on you for entertainment. They're indicators that your energy contributes something essential to the collective experience. This happens because attractive people don't just participate in social situations, they enhance them. Your presence brings out better versions of the people around you. Your energy encourages authenticity, playfulness, deeper connection, or more interesting conversation. When you're there, people feel more inspired to be their best selves. When you leave, that elevated dynamic naturally dissipates because the catalyst for it has been removed. The psychology behind this is fascinating. In group settings, there are always people who add energy and people who drain it. There are those who inspire others to be more interesting and those who make everyone feel like they need to work harder to maintain a mood. Truly magnetic individuals are energy amplifiers. They don't dominate the conversation or demand attention, but their very presence raises the frequency of everyone around them. What's particularly telling is when your absence is noticed more than other people's presence. When someone new joins the group and barely makes a ripple, but when you step away, everyone feels the shift. That's a clear indicator of the invisible influence you wield. People might not consciously realize how much your energy contributes to their experience until it's no longer there, but the contrast reveals the true depth of your impact. This sign also manifests in digital spaces. Your absence from group chats, social media interactions, or online communities is felt. People wonder where you are, what you're up to, whether you're okay. They miss your perspective, your humor, your particular way of seeing things. Your digital presence, like your physical presence, creates a gravitational pull that people notice when it's gone. And that kind of lasting impact, that's not something you can fake or manufacture. That's pure, authentic magnetism at work. We've reached the final 4 signs, and these might be the most powerful indicators of all because they reveal the deepest truths about magnetic attraction. These signs go beyond surface-level interactions and dive into the profound ways truly attractive people influence the world around them. If you recognize yourself in these final patterns, you possess something extraordinary that most people spend their entire lives trying to develop but never quite achieve. What sets these last 4 signs apart is that they demonstrate the ultimate form of attractiveness, the ability to create lasting impact without effort, to inspire transformation in others without trying, and to carry a presence so authentic and compelling that it changes people's lives just by being yourself. These aren't just signs that you're attractive. They're signs that you possess a rare form of magnetism that touches souls and creates ripples far beyond your immediate awareness. This is perhaps the most profound indicator of true attractiveness because it reveals that your influence extends far beyond the moments you share with people. Have you ever had someone tell you that meeting you changed their perspective on something important? That knowing you inspired them to pursue a dream, leave a toxic situation, or start believing in themselves differently? That your way of being showed them what was possible in their own life? This isn't just about being inspiring in the moment. This is about possessing the kind of authentic magnetism that creates lasting transformation. When someone encounters genuine attractiveness, it doesn't just make them feel good temporarily, it shifts something fundamental in how they see themselves and the world. Your comfort with authenticity gives them permission to be more real. Your confidence in your own worth shows them what self-respect looks like. Your way of moving through challenges demonstrates resilience they didn't know was possible. Without preaching or trying to change anyone, you become a living example of what's possible when someone fully inhabits their own life. I've witnessed this phenomenon repeatedly with truly magnetic people. Someone meets them, and months later, they're living differently. They've quit the job that was draining their soul, started expressing themselves more boldly, set boundaries they never had the courage to set before, or simply started treating themselves with more kindness and respect. When asked what inspired the change, they often mention you, sometimes even crediting a single conversation or moment of witnessing how you handled the situation. The psychology behind this is beautiful. When people encounter someone who is genuinely comfortable in their own skin, it creates what researchers call a possibility expansion. Their brain literally rewires its understanding of what's normal, acceptable, or achievable. Your authentic way of being becomes proof that they, too, can live more authentically. Your magnetic presence doesn't just attract people to you, it attracts them to better versions of themselves. What's remarkable about this sign is that you're probably not even aware you're doing it. You're not trying to be anyone's guru or life coach. You're simply being yourself with such integrity and authenticity that it gives others permission to do the same. And that kind of unconscious influence, that ability to inspire transformation just by existing fully as yourself, is one of the rarest and most beautiful forms of human magnetism. This might seem contradictory, but it's actually one of the most reliable indicators of powerful attractiveness. When you possess genuine magnetism, you don't just attract positive attention, you attract intense attention of all kinds. Some people are drawn to your energy and want to be part of your world, while others feel threatened by your presence and try to create obstacles or opposition. This polarization isn't a flaw in your character, it's proof of your impact. Think about the most magnetic people throughout history, the ones who changed the world, inspired movements, or created lasting influence. They all had one thing in common. They attracted both devoted followers and determined opposition. Their presence was too powerful to ignore, their authenticity too challenging to the status quo, their energy too disruptive to existing power structures for everyone to respond positively. And the same principle applies to personal magnetism on any scale. Have you noticed that as you become more authentically yourself, more confident in your worth, more magnetic in your presence, certain people have become more supportive while others have become more critical? That opportunities seem to open up for you at the same time that certain individuals or situations create more resistance. This isn't bad luck or poor timing. This is the natural consequence of possessing energy powerful enough to create strong reactions. The reason this happens is that true attractiveness disrupts equilibrium. Your confidence challenges others to examine their own insecurities. Your authenticity makes others question their own masks. Your success highlights others' unfulfilled potential. Your magnetic presence creates a standard that some people want to rise to and others want to tear down. The stronger your genuine magnetism becomes, the more polarized these responses will be. Here's what you need to understand. This opposition isn't something to avoid or minimize. It's something to recognize as confirmation of your power. People don't waste energy trying to dim lights that aren't bright enough to bother them. They don't organize opposition against people who don't pose a threat to their comfort or control. If you're experiencing both strong support and strong resistance, it means you're operating at a level of authenticity and magnetism that creates waves, and that's exactly where you want to be. This is one of the most sophisticated signs of attractiveness because it reveals something extraordinary about the quality of presence you bring to relationships. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. They feel compelled to fill empty spaces with conversation, nervous laughter, or distraction because quiet moments feel awkward or tense. But with you, something magical happens. Silence becomes comfortable, even profound. It becomes a shared experience rather than an absence of interaction. When someone can sit quietly with you and feel perfectly content, it means your energy is so calming, so complete, so naturally engaging that words become optional rather than necessary. Your presence fills the space in a way that makes conversation an enhancement rather than a requirement. People feel so comfortable with who you are that they don't need to perform, entertain, or maintain constant verbal connection to feel engaged with you. This happens because truly attractive people possess what I call energetic completeness. You're not needy for validation, desperate for attention, or anxious about how you're being perceived. Your comfort with yourself creates a bubble of peace that others can relax into. In a world where most people are constantly trying to prove themselves, justify their worth, or maintain social connection through continuous interaction, your ability to simply be present becomes magnetic. I've observed this with people who possess deep magnetism. Others seek them out not just for conversation, but for companionship. They want to study with you, work near you, travel with you, or simply exist in your proximity because your energy is so naturally calming and inspiring. They don't need you to entertain them or constantly engage them. They just want to be in your energetic field because it makes them feel more centered and peaceful. The psychological principle at work here is that attractive people often serve as what researchers call emotional regulators for others. Your balanced energy helps others feel more balanced. Your comfort with silence gives them permission to stop performing. Your peaceful presence allows them to access their own inner calm. And this ability to create profound comfort through simple presence is one of the most powerful forms of human magnetism. This final sign might be the most important of all because it reveals the beautiful paradox at the heart of genuine attractiveness. The people who possess the most powerful magnetism are often the least aware of their effect on others. You consistently underestimate the impact of your words, the influence of your presence, the lasting impression you leave on everyone who encounters you. And this very unconsciousness of your power is precisely what makes you so compelling. Have you ever been surprised when someone told you how much a conversation with you meant to them? Shocked to discover that something you considered a casual interaction changed someone's entire perspective? Amazed to learn that people think about things you've said long after you've forgotten saying them? This disconnect between your perception of your influence and the reality of your impact is one of the clearest signs that you possess extraordinary magnetism. The reason this happens is that truly attractive people are internally focused rather than externally focused. Instead of constantly monitoring how others are responding to them, they're engaged with their own thoughts, feelings, and authentic expression. This creates a fascinating paradox. The less you're trying to impact others, the more deeply you affect them. The less aware you are of your magnetism, the more magnetic you become. Think about the most genuinely attractive people you know. They're not the ones constantly seeking validation or trying to prove their worth. They're the ones who are so engaged with their own lives, so comfortable with their own thoughts, so authentic in their expression that others are naturally drawn to their energy. They impact people profoundly precisely because they're not trying to impact anyone at all. This unconscious influence is the hallmark of the deepest form of attractiveness. When you're genuinely comfortable with yourself, when you're living authentically without performing for others, when you're focused on your own growth and expression rather than on managing how others perceive you, you become irresistibly magnetic. People sense your authenticity, feel drawn to your peace, and want to understand the secret of your genuine contentment. Here's the beautiful truth. If you've recognized yourself in these 12 signs, you possess something extraordinary that most people spend their entire lives seeking but never find. You have authentic magnetism, genuine attractiveness that goes far beyond surface-level appeal. You influence people's lives, create lasting impact, and carry a presence that touches souls and opens hearts. The question isn't whether you're attractive enough, successful enough, or worthy enough. The question is whether you're ready to fully acknowledge and embrace the power you already possess. Because when you do, when you stop questioning your worth and start celebrating your unique magnetism, something shifts in your energy that makes you even more compelling, even more influential, even more irresistibly attractive to everyone around you. Ready to discover more about your hidden magnetism and learn how to fully step into your power? Subscribe to our channel for more deep insights into human psychology and personal transformation. Hit that notification bell so you never miss content that could change how you see yourself forever. And in the comments below, tell us, which of these signs surprised you the most? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to recognize their own extraordinary worth.